The traditional Western fireplace relies on a vertical structure leading straight up a chimney. Because hot air naturally rises, the peak of the flame's heat shoots directly up the flue and out of the house. This design primarily warms the air immediately in front of the hearth. The moment the embers burn out, the room temperature drops, and the process of drawing air into the fire often leaves the remaining environment dry and smoky. In the Korean peninsula, harsh winter temperatures often plummet well below freezing. To survive these conditions, ancient builders had to ensure that not a single joule of energy was wasted. Their solution was to reorient the fire. By forcing the heat to travel horizontally beneath the house, they could separate the toxic smoke from the warmth needed for survival. This is the core of the Ondol system. Instead of the vertical escape route used by a fireplace, the Ondol employs a horizontal path that converts the entire foundation of a home into a stable thermal battery. This enclosed stone firebox, the agungi, serves a dual purpose. While its surface supports cast iron cooking cauldrons, its internal structure functions as the high-powered intake for the home's heating system. Immediately behind the fire, the passage constricts into a narrow bottleneck called the Bulmok, or throat. This constriction triggers the Venturi effect. As the hot gases from the fire are forced through the narrow throat, they compress and rapidly accelerate, driving the heat deep into the foundation. This manipulation of pressure creates a one-way flow. It draws the heat into the floor while preventing toxic smoke from reversing course and escaping back into the kitchen. Once past the throat, the air enters the Gudeul, a network of flues interspersed with deep excavated trenches known as Gudeuljang. This floor plan reveals how the narrow intake opens into a wider area, forcing high-speed air to spread across the room. In the longitudinal section, deep trenches capture sinking cool air, while buoyant heat presses against the floor. By utilizing gravity and volume, the system traps the heat beneath the floorboards. The architecture forces the energy to linger, turning the earth itself into a geothermal storage unit. Capping this labyrinth are Gudeuljang, large flat stones, which are then sealed with a thick layer of red clay called hwangto. These materials provide high thermal mass. They absorb the raw convection heat from the flues and store it, allowing for a slow, steady release of warmth long after the fire has been extinguished. As the heat passes through the stone and clay, the emission type changes. The stones convert the rising heat into long-wave, far-infrared radiation. Radiant heat targets objects and people directly, rather than warming the air. This creates an environment where the floor stays warm, while the air at head height remains fresh, providing comfort at lower overall room temperatures. Building this system required high precision. It began with excavation to ensure the ground was dry, as moisture in the soil would sap the system's thermal energy. As seen in this cross-section, vertical stone rows support the floor's weight while splitting the heat flow. In the longitudinal section, stones are thicker near the agungi to withstand heat, and the entire assembly slopes upward to maintain a draft. The final step was a layered seal of mud and clay. This had to be perfectly airtight. Any leak in the floor could allow combustion gases to seep into the living space. This assembly extracts high thermal output from minimal fuel, provided the seal remains airtight, to protect the inhabitants from the exhaust gases. The presence of a heated floor dictated the evolution of Korean domestic behavior. Families naturally gathered where heat was most consistent, directly on the floor. This necessitated the removal of shoes at the entrance to keep the floor clean. It also led to a culture of sleeping on the thin mattresses and dining at low tables to stay within the radiant heat zone. This ancient stone and clay configuration is the direct ancestor of modern hydronic radiant heating, the water-filled pipe systems now used in high-efficiency architecture worldwide. While modern forced air systems fight the cold by blowing heated air, the Ondol works with natural laws. It utilizes the properties of buoyancy, pressure, and thermal mass to maintain the environment. When human engineering utilizes natural laws with this level of precision, the mechanical complexity fades into the background. The home maintains its temperature passively. The technology feels like an inherent part of it. Modern heating is a biological and economic trap. We live in sealed boxes, depending on machines to force heated air to keep us from freezing. This method fails the moment it encounters physics. Because hot air instinctively rises, it rushes to the ceiling, leaving your head in a pocket of suffocating heat while your feet remain cold on the floor. This creates a toxic breathing environment. As the air molecules expand, they strip the room of moisture, degrading your respiratory mucosa and making every breath more difficult for your lungs to process. You pay exorbitant energy costs to temporarily alter the temperature of a gas that leaks and vanishes the moment the machine cycles off. Modern heating functions as a sustained biological drain, engineered for dependency and thermodynamic inefficiency. To find an alternative, we look back thousands of years to an architectural technology that inverted this paradigm by targeting mass instead of air. This is the Ondol. It is a subterranean energy grid, a thermodynamically optimized system built directly into the foundation of traditional Korean homes. It operates on a core philosophy of separation. It isolates the toxic smoke and byproducts of fire, while capturing and storing the pure thermal energy in the structure beneath the floor. The solution to human thermal regulation has never been in the air currents above us, but locked in the weaponized grid beneath the floorboards. Dropping beneath the floor level reveals the agungi, the system's primary ignition chamber. This is where raw fuel is converted into high-velocity kinetic energy. The fire is immediately forced into a critical choke point known as the Bulmok, a narrow, upwardly angled pass at the back of the chamber. Hitting this restriction triggers the Venturi effect and Bernoulli's principle. Compression forces the gas to accelerate, turning a flame into a high-speed stream. This pressure spike, multiplying force by 4 times, acts as an internal pump, driving thermal energy horizontally into gory flues, overriding gravity. The toxic smoke is violently propelled through this underground network and expelled out a distant chimney, keeping the indoor atmosphere entirely pure. The agungi and Bulmok operate as a thermodynamic railgun, perfectly directing a thermal payload without causing collateral atmospheric damage. Resting directly above this horizontal storm are the Gudeuljang, massive slabs of mica and granite. These stones serve as absolute thermal insulators. Their unique material properties allow them to absorb and trap the kinetic heat, rather than letting it flash fry the room, protecting the living space above. A single ignition phase fully charges this thermal battery, allowing the stones to emit stable, continuous heat for days after the fire has been extinguished. True energy dominance is achieved by capturing and locking thermal energy into a flawless, uncorrupted geological battery. Once the Gudeuljang stones and the surrounding clay are superheated, the energy undergoes a physical transformation, radiating outward as long-wave far infrared waves. This radiant heat operates like a biological targeted weapon. It ignores empty air, directly penetrating and saturating human tissue at a cellular level. The key to this interaction is the hwangto, the mineral-rich red clay used to pack the stones. Intense heat allows the far infrared radiation to carry the energy of the clay's enzymes into the body. This radiant energy stimulates the production of catalase within the tissues, which actively neutralizes lipid peroxides, the specific toxins responsible for human cellular aging. The Ondol functions as an active medical device, executing a biological override to neutralize toxins from the ground up. This engineering achieves the optimal human physiological state, Gudeuljang, the ancient principle of a cool head and warm feet. This thermal gradient creates the holy grail of biology. It forces blood to circulate forcefully from the lower extremities, while the brain operates in cold, highly oxygenated air for maximum clarity. This stands in direct opposition to the suffocating, brain-fogging reality of the modern HVAC systems we have been sold. Reject the engineered dependency on toxic, heated air.